So 1 week after the 2023 YZ 450F launch, here with Matty P, represented Transmoto down at Ride Park, Victoria. So take us through the launch, Matty. What was your first thoughts on the bike?
From standing from the side, sort of putting gear on, the first thing I noticed was the shorter guards, front and rear. But once actually first sitting on the bike, you notice straight away they're pretty normal. Like you don't notice the shortness. Yeah. The next thing would be firing it up. Definitely sounds like a Yemi. That's pretty to be expected. But that the new airbox on those bikes, the induction noise, it's got a bit of a whiz to it, a bit more of a different note to the normal airbox sound that the Yemi's got. So yeah. No, something different. So
yeah, so totally new platform for Yamaha this time. It's not just an upgrade on the previous model. It's a new gen.
I think that the boys were saying there's like the fork shock and the muffler, not the header, not the midsection, just the muffler swap over.
Is the only thing that transfers from old to new.
Yeah, front rear tyres, that's about it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So if you do have an older 450 and you want to figure out what you can put on this new model, that's it.
It's a handful of parts, it's not much, so yeah.
Cool. What were the major upgrades that you felt and how'd they translate on the track?
I noticed straight away was the weight. Yeah. They've shaved a lot of weight out of it. I think it was like just over 2 kilos. It doesn't sound like much, but on a 450 that's a fair bit. And then you add an increased 500 RPM rev range on top of what they've already had. And it just really frees up that bike and just lets it sing, especially in second gear. That like the 500 RPM, the thing just revs to the moon.
And what about the track? For people that haven't been down to Ride Park before, how would you describe the track and the terrain you guys rode on the day?
Ride Park Vic, they definitely put on an awesome track. They know their stuff. The terrain, it's sort of a red clay base naturally, and I think they've brought in a bit of sand recently. So like the insides, they were a bit softer. There were a couple of ruts sort of exiting the corners, but I found sort of through the midsection of the corners, they would sort of, the ruts were just pushing up into like little booms. It was a bit sandier, so awesome fun, good mix, some pretty cool jumps, good mix of corners and a few tighter sections, so it was a good mix. Yeah.
How's the new bike turn?
For me, I found, and I don't know what it is, the bike wasn't actually really, I'm a bit heavier, so I'm weighing around 110 kilos at the moment. So the bike wasn't sprung for me, so I can't fully comment on, how the bike could be set up for someone. But for me, it did feel a little flighty and a bit light under load on braking in the first point of the corner. But the lean angle in the ruts, man, those Yamahas, they've really emphasised on the 23 model that they want it to turn really well with the front end, and you can. Like the lean angle is awesome. You can just tip her in and off you go, point and shoot sort of thing.
Yeah, good front end feel and front to back balance with the bike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about the all-new chassis and how that translated onto the track. Straight
away I noticed it's a lot skinnier around the knees on that top section of the tank, which I think a lot of Yamaha owners, I think they've been chasing that for a long time now. It is a lot skinnier. It's still a little bit wider down near the foot pegs. You can still grip on with your calf muscles and it's still like it, but then once it comes up the seat, it does skinny up a bit. The rider triangle's opened up a considerable amount, so they've dropped the foot pegs down and back 5mm each way. For me personally, I didn't notice so much standing up that drop and the foot peg position movement, but I did actually notice sitting down, going around a corner, the 5mm, I feel like I could straighten my outside leg to weight that outside peg a lot easier with that move. As far as the rider triangle with the handlebars, they've actually changed this year and put the handlebar mounts in the back holes with the mounts facing forwards.
As opposed to the front holes.
Yeah, opposed to last year with the previous year with the bars in the front holes facing back. It would have been good to have the opportunity to just sort of play around with that, sort of a little bit stretched for time and stuff, but for me being a little bit lankier, longer legs, to just open it up even that bit more. On my personal bike, I do run it in the front holes with the mounts facing backwards, especially Yamaha having that the way that the seat and the tank is designed, you can really get up the front on those things, and especially how much Yamaha's emphasising that they want this bike to turn on a dime to really slide up the front with those bars. I think that'd be a massive game changer.
So what about the motor? So the motor's completely all new as well, another major upgrade to the bike. How did that power characteristic for you?
So the motor's got awesome power, nice and steady, really predictable out of the box. Super steady. I actually spent most of the day riding in the standard map. We actually had the option, the boys from Yamaha put the Travis Preston map in from the States. They put that map in as a second on the blue switch on the bars for us. Played around with that, but I spent most of the day in the standard map, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just smooth, not hard hitting, but yeah, smooth power.
Yeah.
All the way through, and then once you whack her in second gear and let her rev through, she goes off the stairs.
Yeah, plenty of power, keeps revving. Being a 450, you're not shifting a bunch of gears in there. You kind of want that lazy power, but also wasn't aggressive. Like, it wasn't ripping your arms off out there.
No.
It was.
No, it was really smooth. Like I said, you leave it in second and away she goes, sort of thing. But I did, I'd try to think I ride a gear tall, so I was trying to lug it around in third, and it carried third gear and some of that tighter stuff as well. So it was really good, really interesting.
Yeah, nice.
I've been speaking to Josh Green and fellow Yamaha rider, and I said I'd love to see how one of these things goes with a bit of a different map in second gear and let her go in the bush and see how she goes.
Yeah. How do you reckon it would go in the bush being lighter? Does it feel more nimble, like it'll dodge the trees pretty well?
It really does. That weight, it almost feels like a mountain bike. It'd be really interesting to see with some mapping and some gear and what the Enduro boys could do on one of these.
Oh, exciting. Things to come.
Yeah.
What about the Yamaha Power Tuner app? You can change your mapping. You can now log lap times on it. It's got maintenance data that you can keep on top of. When you need to do oil changes, that kind of stuff keeps you in check. It's now got suggested suspension settings. If you feel like the bike's doing something or other, it'll give you some FAQs and you can kind of work your way through it. What was your experience with the app on the day, and how easy was it connecting to the bike and adjusting a few things on the fly?
So on the day I had one of the Yamaha boys run me through. Super simple, sort of to hook your bike up. There's just a code underneath the seat. You just pop that up, pop the phone into your Wi-Fi settings on your phone, and off you go with your Yamaha app. So you're all hooked up.
Yeah, we could
play the new dial on the map. Super easy to use, super easy to figure out. Obviously Yamaha's don't be scared to have a go and flick some buttons, because Yamaha's not going to let you give you too broad a range that you're going to blow something up or cause some damage in your bike. So obviously might not run the best, but
yeah, it's cool. Gone are the days if you had the Power Tuner app on previous models where you had to adjust it all with the numbers by yourself, and unless you kind of have a fundamental base of what you're working, you're kind of guessing. That's why I think a lot of people flock to the internet to see what else was out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also the biggest thing, adding the lap time function, as well as the maintenance and the motos and all that sort of jazz. Just something else there for the consumers to look at. Yeah,
makes life a lot easier. And if you're some guy that motos by himself, you can now log your own laps without having to have someone there standing on the side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is cool. And like you're saying, with the slider function now, it's not about punching in numbers. You can physically go, I want more traction control, I want less. Your power softer and harder. So that's a big improvement.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot more simple being able to see it on the screen as you slide on the dial.
Yep. So all those chassis updates and engine updates and the engine inertia feel, how's that translate when you get the thing in the air and throw it a little bit sideways?
Yeah, once in the air, getting a bit sideways, cranking her over. You really notice, I felt like I noticed that weight loss, super flickable in the air. The extra revs and the lighter feeling in the motor really lets you in the air, like the inertia, bringing the front wheel back up if she's a little bit too low, like the back wheel really spins up quick, help bring that front end up, so it's sweet.
New clutch as well. Tell us how that felt on the bike. Still cable, but what's this talk about there being a hydraulic option now?
The way that Yamaha have changed their clutch with the new one-piece CNC basket and just getting rid of all the excess weight in there, really translates to the track, a real light pull. I was pretty interested to get back out there on a cable clutch and see what it was all about with the Yemis. Obviously, Yamaha have been with cable clutches for a while, but so Yamaha's brought out, with the help of GYTR, bolt-on hydraulic clutch kit. I think they're retailing for just over $300 or something like that. Spoke to a couple of the boys and they reckon it's not a bad thing. So yeah, so unfortunately we didn't have a GYTR hydraulic clutch there to try on the day. Would have been really interesting to put one to the test and see how it goes against, you know, every other manufacturer that seems to be putting hydraulic clutches on their bikes these days. Being a Yamaha clutch though, you know what you're getting. It's pretty bulletproof. You can really give it to those things and they hold up, you know.
Yeah. So does it still feel like a Yami? Does it still feel like a Jap bike, or is it now more towards an Austrian bike feel?
No, absolutely still like an old faithful Yamaha.
Yep.
And you can't go wrong. Like I said before, still like they've made it a lot skinnier, they've shaved a heap of weight out of this thing, which is awesome. But yeah, no, still that Yamaha feel.
Given the opportunity to spend more time on it, what would you tweak anything with the bike? Would you put anything on it if you were to go race it, say, next week?
Yeah, to go racing next week, obviously, like just the standard stuff. Like I said before, wanting to move those handlebars forward, getting this my preferred bend of handlebar set up there and some grips, and really you're set to go. Like, you know, a decent map, play around with, get a map that you enjoy and you can actually hold on to, and off you go. You're off to the races. Yeah,
awesome. No need to mess around with pipes or anything. You don't have to go buying different ignitions now, or
no.
The app's so good that you can dial it up and down, and away you go.
That's the one thing I really admire about a Yemi is their stock exhaust. They sound awesome. They work awesome. Like the proof's in the pudding. And Yamaha aren't going to send an exhaust out there that's not worthy of being on such a high quality bike. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the thing rips.